Hello everyone, my name is My name is, and today is the 20th anniversary of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and today I'm going to review it. Why? Because I love Power Rangers. I remember watching the show when I was little, and I remember watching the movie when I got it on VHS, and I love it. I still have the movie, and I'm glad I have it. And yeah, and I'm happy to hear that they're gonna make a Power Rangers movie, another live action Power Rangers movie that I hope will be better than the last two they made. Now, as I said before, as a kid, I thought this movie was awesome. I thought it was the best. But then seeing it again as an adult, I do understand why some people had a problem with it. I can understand the flaws that the movie has and why critics didn't think much of it. So let's take a look to see what's wrong with this movie and see if there's anything good about it. So the story focuses on the Power Rangers around season 2 that are they're enjoying themselves, having some fun, until some construction workers uncovered a purple egg that is the prison to the main villain, Ivan Ooze. Oh yeah, I'm not kidding. That's the name of the villain, Ivan Ooze. Yeah, that's not exactly the kind of villain name I would have as my main villain in any movie, but uh, I guess they couldn't come up with any good names. He gets free thanks to Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed, who wanted to use Ivan to destroy the Power Rangers, which he agrees and destroys the command center where the Power Rangers get their power, and almost kills Zordon, who is kind of like a mentor to the Power Rangers and helps them out whenever they need it. However, the Power Rangers find a new source of power and go to the planet where it is at, where they meet up a woman named Dulcia, who is friends with Zordon and enemies of Ivan, who ends up betraying Zed and Rita to try to, what else, take over the world. He starts by creating vials of his own ooze to give to the kids disguised as a wizard. Then the kids give it to the parents, who are taken over by the ooze and are used to dig up Ivan's robots that are buried underground, which will, while the kids are free to do whatever they want, but only one kid sees through this whole thing, goes to warn the other kids so they can go save their parents. Yeah, saying that out loud, I can see why this part of the story in the movie was not that good. I'll get to that in a bit. But anyways, the Power Rangers go on their journey. They survive flying birdmen, giant skeleton dinosaurs. They defeat Temple Stone Guardians, thus getting the new power so they can use to go back to Earth, fight against Ivan, defeat him, save the parents, and and celebrate at the end with the people thanking the Power Rangers for saving the day. So, how does this all sound? Well, honestly, this is something you would expect from Power Rangers, at least from the show. It does have its flaws, mostly on the side story, which I didn't like very much. I mean, I wanted the focus to be on the Power Rangers, not these kids or adults, which I didn't like very much. And I know the movie was trying to make me like them, but I really couldn't. And speaking of the Power Rangers, to me it felt more like the focus was more on just two members of the team, Kimberly and Tommy. And I get it, to the fans, some of the fans, they do love these two characters. I get that. I love all the characters. But to me, they got more time on screen than the others. I mean, don't get me wrong. As I said, I love the characters, but I wouldn't mind the story also focusing more on the other Rangers as well. And the plan for Ivan was so predictable. The ending saw it coming, and well, it just to me it wasn't that good of a villain. But other than that, the story's pretty basic, so I can let that go. But speaking of the characters, how do they do? Well, the main characters, at least the actors who played them, they did pretty well. I love how well they play their roles, like they did in the show. And well, we already know who they are. We already know what they go through in the show. So we in this movie we already are familiar with them and we know that they can kick ass and they are awesome characters and I love them. But is there any flaws with this? Well, to me there isn't much character development since the people who made this movie expect us, the fans, to know who these characters are, which we already do. But for those that are not familiar with them, they go into this and they don't know who these characters are. So yeah, I mean, there isn't much character. There is a little, but not that much. And any con development is mostly focused on Kimberly and Tommy. They seem to be the only ones that got focused. But other than that, I did like the main characters. They played their role well, and I'm glad for that. Uh, the the other characters were also good, dude. The side characters, some of them were good. Zordon, Alpha were okay. Rita and Zed also. But the other side characters, had a problem with. I didn't like the kids. I didn't like the adults. I thought they were. I didn't care much for them. I wish they had showed more of Bulk and Skull, who are my favorite duo in the show because of how funny they are. They're the comedy relief, but they do play a role in the series. So I wish that they had more time in this, but no, they have only a few scenes, and the other focus is on the kids and the adults. And if you're going to have a side story, then make sure the characters are likable, or at least make them interested so you can care for them. But in this movie, not so much. I didn't care much for them, and especially how unrealistic these kids know how to run a monorail so fast, like they did. Like they just like that. They got in, they knew what to press, and that's it. It was no. The other issue I had were the villains. I mean, Rita and Zed, they were okay, but the Ivan Ooze character, I had a problem with that. I mean, just listen to the name, Ivan Ooze. How is that threatening? Seriously, say you are a villain and you call yourself that name. I am Ivan Ooze. Seriously, I guarantee you, you will get laughed at. I do not dislike the acting. I think the actor who played him did a good job. I mean, you could tell he was having fun. I mean, you could tell just the way he was acting, he was having fun playing this role. But honestly, I don't know. The character just didn't work well with me. But again, the name is just a problem. As I said, Zed and Rita are okay, but they were quickly tossed away in the movie, which sucked. Then there's Goldar, who's one of the henchmen of Rita and Zed, who was just useless as that pig guy who we don't even see in the show. No, seriously, where the hell did he come from? Did they make up their own henchman who was just to be annoying? He doesn't appear ever again in the show, just in this movie. I don't understand. Anyways, yeah, the main characters are good. Some of the side characters are bad. And the villains, well, are not that good, but they're not that bad either. But what about the effects? I mean, surely the effects for everything, including the fights, surely they must be good, right? I mean, with a budget of $15 million and a studio that's behind them and a director who has been involved in a lot of good shows, I'm sure would be able to make them look good, right? Well, let's take a look at the positive. For the design for the Power Rangers outfit, they didn't look bad. I mean, they look like something I would expect from a movie. Because when you see the show, the outfits they use for the show, you could tell they should not use that for the movie. I mean, they look like, in this movie, they look like something I could see them use. Granted, the one for the White Ranger looked a little off, and the equipment they used for the outfits, like the helmets changing form and the weapons they used, looked kind of dumb, but I thought the designs looked good. The design for the villains, they were all great as well. I love the villain designs, especially how, Ivan Ooze looked. I mean, granted, again, the name is not that good, but I still liked Ivan. I think he looked good. They also had Zordon, who, in the show, you could never tell what expression he was making. At least, it was very fuzzy. But in this movie, he looked good. They did well with how they had him look in the movie, and even without the pod that he was in, that he was trapped in, he looked good too. So I like that. Uh, the command center as well. I mean, oh my god. I mean, in the show, it feels cluttered. Like they're in a small room, but in the movie, it's big. It looks awesome. It looks like something I was expecting from the movie. So I like how well they did that with the design and everything. So that was well done. My only flaw that I have, which is big problem would have to be the action scene and the CGI for the giant robots. I mean, let me explain. In the show, the fights can be a bit goofy, but they did make them look good at times, and I thought that was good. But in the movie, they focused so much on the big stunts, like doing things we never saw in the movie that look so dumb. I mean, in here we see them just doing a lot of jumping and jumping and jumping. In the show, we did see him use some, just hit some people, and they were able to do some pretty good moves. So yeah, one thing I can probably use is where the White Ranger's on top of this high plate. He jumps down, all like, yeah, like he's gonna kick this guy. I'm not kidding. He's in that same position, and he floats down, and he starts kicking the guy multiple times, and then knocks him into the wall and causes him to explode. But yeah, that one scene is a good example that I can use that just made the effects look ridiculous. The first two fights I did not like. I thought they were not that good. The third fight with the Birdmen, the Tango Warriors, not that good either. Their fight with the dinosaur again was not that good. It kind of looked ridiculous. But their fight against the Guardians at the near, so they can get their power, that was actually pretty good. I didn't mind that at all. I thought it was good, and it was a lot better than the other ones. And even without their morphers, they still did a good job, and I was happy how well they went. But yeah, not all the fights were good, but they weren't as bad as the fights with the robots, with the Zords. Yeah, the Zord fight was probably the most ridiculous I've ever seen. I mean, the CGI for them did not look good, especially when you combine them. Uh, Ivan Ooze's robots look so stupid. Oh my god, they look so fake. I did not like them at all, especially when the Zords formed together to form the Megazord, and it looks so terrible. I did not. What? But one good thing about them is they didn't look so terrible as Ivan Ooze when he merged with his robot to form this horribly CGI monster. The fights look bad between these two. The effects for them as well look bad. And how they killed them was just thrown in there just to kill them off. So it's just, oh my god, 15 million. They had every opportunity to make the effects look good, but that was terrible. It really was. So despite the flaws that I've mentioned, and this, even with the positive stuff I talked about, does that make this movie bad? Do I still love the movie? Is it still enjoyable? Well, yeah. It's still, to me, it's still my favorite movie. Yeah, I still love this movie. Even with the flaws, I still love it. Why? Maybe because I grew up watching the show. Maybe because I love everything about the Power Rangers. Or maybe I was so hyped for the movie. And I saw it as a kid. I thought it was awesome. That the kid in me still loves it. So yeah, I'm sorry. But despite the flaws, the kid in me still loves this movie. And I love it as well. I consider it my guilty pleasure movie. So yeah, I mean, despite the flaws with some of the story and the characters and the effects, I think it's still a good movie. I mean, granted, it's a lot better than the other kind of movies we've seen with the superheroes and whatnot, like their attempt to make other DC movies besides Superman, Batman. But yeah, 20 years later, movie's still good. If you guys have a different opinion about it, leave some comments below. Let me know what you think, and I'll be here next time to give you more love, more entertainment. Take care. See you all next time.